Hey everybody, this is Mitch Ferraro from F Street. I hope everyone's having a great day out there today. I am really excited to have this conversation with you completely about our private debt fund. I'm the investor relations manager here. I work with all of the investors that come into any of our funds here. I also work out with all of our potential investors that are thinking about investing with us. And today I'm just going to give a really high level overview of the private debt fund, what it is, why you should be a part of it, and why it's a great alternative investment. I'll kind of just start it off with, this investment is a truly passive investment. If you have been in real estate for a long time, or if you're just starting to get into real estate, I'm sure many people have told you, or have you heard before, that it's a passive game, right? Real estate's a passive game. But all of a sudden, if you start buying rental properties or you start buying commercial buildings, you kind of realize it's not that passive. You're actively working in that business on those rentals, working with tenants, working with leases, working with improvements to the house or improvements to the commercial building. It's a real active game. Well, the private debt fund is completely passive. You put your money in and you receive money every single month. This fund is a great way to just have mailbox money, right? Money that's coming in from your investment that you've made. So the private debt fund, it's a 10% annual interest fund that gets paid out on a monthly basis. We pay it on the last business day of every single month. It's like clockwork. You see it in the ACH account, every single time that you open up that bank account, you're going to see that ACH payment. It's a really exciting way to get your 10% annual interest. So you're always seeing the money in the bank account. And what we do is with that money, is we're actually loaning out to real estate investors who are buying residential properties and flipping those properties, or they're using what's called the BRRRR strategy, the buy, rehab, rent, and refinance strategy, to buy a property, fix it up. They then are getting it rented out, and then they refinance with longer term debt, like a traditional bank, to pay off our short-term loan. And what we do is we charge the investors 15% and 5 points to borrow that money short term. And then we're providing the 10% annual interest to the investors to be in the fund. And then we at F Street are keeping the 5% and 5-point spread to operate the business. Now, a lot of times, one of the very first questions that come from investors when they're talking with me is, Mitch, 15% and 5 points, that's super expensive money. Why doesn't someone just go to a regular bank and get money from a bank? And that's always a great question. And it's rather simple. One, a lot of these properties are very distressed properties, right? They need to be fixed up. They have electrical issues, plumbing issues, they have foundation issues. There's a hole in the roof, need new windows. They need to be rehabbed. A bank is not going to loan out on an asset like that, because a traditional bank is going to see that property as too risky, right? So they're not going to even give you the money to go ahead and buy that house. With us, we're not only providing funds for an investor to buy that, we're also providing the funds for the investor to fix up the property as well. So we're going to allow them to buy the property with our money, and then when work is completed on the property, we're going to give them draws of money to make sure that those contractors, or to give those to the contractors when the work is completed. We provide draws, and they provide us documentation that shows that the work has been completed, and then we draw them the actual money. So one of the reasons why we charge so much is because it's a short-term loan, right? So one, the bank's not going to give you the money to buy the house. It's also not going to give you money to fix it up. We're providing the funds for both of those. So 15% and 5 points, it is expensive, but again, it is a short-term loan, and that's what the borrowers are borrowing the money at. And it's always been 15% and 5 points. The next question I typically get right off the bat then after that is, well, Mitch, is it always 10%? What happens if rates go up? What happens if interest rates go down? It's always 10% annual interest. It's always been 10% annual interest. And that is predicated, again, on what we're charging the borrowers, the 15% and 5 points, to go ahead and pay the investors their 10% annual interest. And then I always get the question, well, okay, Mitch, is the business doing well when the rates are up? Is the business doing well when the rates are down? And it's very interesting. So when rates are really low, like, back in 2014, 15, 16, and you could go get a 3% interest rate, we still saw business going great, because what a lot of our investors, a lot of our borrowers, what they were doing is they were using our money to fix up the property, And then they were using the BRRRR strategy, the buy, rehab, rent, and refinance strategy, to buy that property and get it fixed up. And they would hang on to that as a rental, and they would refinance out of our short-term loan with a traditional mortgage at 3%, and they would make huge cash flow on the properties. So when interest rates are low, we still have a lot of people coming to us to use our money, and then they go ahead and fix up the property, and they're using the BRRRR strategy to actually, now have a cash flowing asset as a rental property. When rates are high, we do still see a lot of people, like right now, interest rates are at, around in our market, we're in Wisconsin. You're looking at around 6.5 to 6% for a traditional mortgage. At this interest rate, we're seeing a mix of people using the BRRRR strategy and still finding good deals and fixing up a property and keeping it as a rental. We're also seeing them flip it, right? They'll fix it up, they'll put it on the open market, and they'll sell it. So it doesn't really, interest rates are not a huge impact on how the fund is doing. Again, we're a short-term solution for someone to buy an asset and either make a big chunk of money by flipping it, or to keep it as a rental property, as an asset that they have cash flow with. Now, we have an awesome underwriting process when we do these types of deals. So we take in about 450 loan applications per month. We loan out to about 40 applications every single month. So about 9 to 10% is what we're loaning out to. And we do all of the underwriting in-house. So we have our own loan originators, property evaluators, underwriters that can do all of the underwriting to make sure that a deal that comes in is a good deal. And if it's not, we don't loan out to it. Again, we're only loaning out to about 9 to 10% of the loans that we actually, of the applications that actually come in. So it's a really good process. Actually, through January 1 of this year, all the way through July 31st of this year, we had a 0% default rate on our loans that went out this year. So that's a huge contribution and a really cool thing for our underwriting team. They've done an amazing job this year of making sure that the deals that we're getting into, we're getting good borrowers that are really, really good at paying their interest payments to us every month, paying their fees. So it's a great, cool thing to see here at F Street, with having a 0% default rate for the actual loans that have gone out. Now, I'll also always get a question of like, well, Mitch, like, what's your track record like? Like, how long have you guys been around? And this is a great part about F Street as well. So this fund has been around since 2009. Our owner and founder, Scott Lurie, he started the fund with about $700,000. He's grown the fund to about $110 million fund today. He's never missed an interest payment since he started the fund in 2009. It's always been paid out again on the last business day of each month. So it's just it's a great fund that has a great track record, that's extremely passive. Again, you put your money into the fund. I always like to use the example, if someone put in $120,000 into the fund, every single month on the last business day of each month, you're going to receive a $1,000 interest payment from us, which is going to equate to $12,000 a year, which is the 10% annual interest. Another really, really cool thing about this fund is that you get your interest started right away. So let's just say it's the 15th of the month and you invest into the private debt fund. You're actually going to receive your first interest payment at the end of that month, just for the prorated amount of days that you've been in the fund. So if it's halfway through the month and you put your $120,000 in, you're going to receive a $600 interest payment because you've been in the fund for just half a month. And then the next month, you're going to receive the full interest payment of $1,000 because that's the first full month that you've been in the fund. And then we only hold the investment for 1 year. So it's another great thing about the fund is the liquidity aspect, right? So you invest for 1 year. After that 1 year, your money's basically available to you. We see a lot of investors stay in the fund. We've got about a 95% retention rate inside the fund. We see a lot of people come out of the fund, and the reason we don't see a lot of people come out of the fund, but when we see people come out of the fund, there's typically some sort of life event happening, right? Like they're going to go buy a house for cash, or they're buying the wife a car, or the kids are going to college. Like that's when we typically see people come out of the fund. If they stay in the fund, they're just receiving that monthly interest payment every single month, even after that 1 year. But after that 1 year, you just let me know if you want to pull your money out of the fund. I let our accounting team know. In our subscription agreement, we do allow ourselves a 90-day period to return those funds back to you after the 1 year, after you requested it. But typically, if an investor is requesting like $500,000 or less, we're typically getting that back to them within like 2 to 3 business days. So it's a very quick turn. If you want your money, typically after that 1 year and you make the request. If you don't make the request after the 1 year, nothing really happens. We just literally continue to pay your interest payment every single month until you let us know that you want the funds out of the fund. What's also really nice is that you have a compounding feature inside of this fund. So instead of receiving your payments every single month, you can have the interest payments compound onto the principal every single month. So in the $120,000 example, in the first full month, you would receive $1,000, but instead of receiving that, you just tack that onto your original principal, which now becomes $121,000. And now you're going to start receiving on the next month's interest payment, you're going to be receiving 10% on $121,000. And you just keep doing that. And the interest just keeps compounding onto the principal. And it's a great way to grow your money faster inside the fund. Now, at the end of the year, you do receive a 1099 INT for the interest that we're paying you. So we get that out by January 31st every year. You receive the 1099, but there is a way that you can shield yourself from that tax. And that's if you go ahead and invest with us through a self-directed IRA or solo 401k. So the self-directed IRA or solo 401k is really kind of shielding you from that 1099 because it's a retirement account. And you can have that compounding feature inside of that allows you to compound that money faster. So if you are an entrepreneur, or maybe you used to work at a place that had a 401k and now you can self-direct those funds, you can put those funds into a self-directed IRA, invest with us, and then you literally can have that money just sitting in a retirement account, gaining 10% annual interest and compounding that interest every single month. It's an awesome, awesome way to grow your money faster through a self-directed IRA. And again, you're shielded from the taxes because it's a retirement account. You're shielded from the 1099. So there's a really cool feature that we started last year. It's great way to grow that money faster. And we see a lot of investors utilize that, especially if they have a retirement account that they can self-direct. We use one of our partners that we use is called Equity Trust. They're a custodian. We have got a great rep that helps us onboard anyone that might need to roll over self-directed or roll over an IRA into a self-directed account. Her name is Kelsey Deneen. She's amazing to work with. And we basically set up that relationship with you. We make the introduction and then she kind of takes it from there, gets everything set up. And then you sign all the documentation for the private debt fund. And then you go ahead and invest with us. Now, another really cool thing, and we'll talk about documentation a little bit, it's super easy to get invested with us. If you're a new investor, you sign up for our investor portal. Our investor portal is where your dashboard is at, where you'll see all your investments. It's a really cool feature. It's super easy to use. We've put a lot of time and resources into the dashboard so you can see your investments here with F Street. And the investor portal is also where you're going to actually make your investment. So there's an offerings tab right on the dashboard. You'll see all of our offerings underneath that tab. There's Invest Now button for the private debt fund and for all of our other offerings that are out at that time. You literally click Invest Now. You're going to tell us the type of entity you're going to invest in. You're going to have a bank account attached to it so that we can send the distributions to you every single month. Or once you want your funds back, that'll be where we send all the money back. And then you're going to tell us the amount, and then you're going to sign some documentation. You're going to sign a subscription agreement. You're going to sign a notice of interest election where you're going to let us know if you're going to receive the payments every month or if you're going to compound. You'll then sign a promissory note because that's the note that actually says, hey, we're going to pay you the 10% annual interest every single month for 1 year. And then you're going to do a W-9 if you are investing through yourself individually or like through an LLC or an S-Corp, because you can invest in any type of entity that you want. It doesn't really matter to us, but you can do it as an individual, through a trust, through a self-directed IRA. So you'll do a W-9, and then you'll also then do an ACH authorization form where you'll basically let us know where are we sending the funds every single month, or where are we going to send you funds to give you your money back after the 1 year, after you request it back. And on that ACH form, you're also going to let us know, are you going to wire the funds to us for the initial investment, or we can do a one-time ACH pull from whatever account you want us to for the actual investment. That's what most investors choose. It's easy, it's free, it's on our end. We can pull the funds, the one-time pull. So super easy to do. That literally all of that takes like 5 minutes to get invested. So once you're ready to pull the trigger and invest with us, it's super easy. You click the tab, you sign some documents, and you're earning interest that very day that we pull the funds. So once we receive the funds, you're earning interest that day, and you're going to get your first check at the end of the month. Now, as I brought up in the beginning, it's so passive. Like, this is as passive as you can get. You provide money to us to put into the fund. We loan it out. You get a monthly interest payment every single month. You're not getting called up by tenants. You're not getting called up about, hey, this is another great question that I'll quickly touch on. So you're not getting called up saying, hey, the borrower is going into default and we're going to have to foreclose on the property. We're not going to be able to pay you your 10% annual interest anymore. That doesn't happen in this fund. We always are going ahead and paying out the 10% annual interest. Your funds are not directly tied to one specific asset. It is spread across all the loans inside of the fund. So at any given point, we've got about 500 to 600 active loans out in the marketplace. About 50% of those loans are located in Wisconsin. The other 50% is all throughout the Midwest: Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota. Those that's a main concentration of the actual portfolio, the Midwest, Great Lakes region. But you're not getting that call at the end of the day if one of those properties, because we foreclose on about 2 to 3% of our loan portfolio per year. And actually over the past 6 years, this is a big thing with our underwriting. We've done really, really, really well of getting into good deals. And if we get a foreclosure year over year over the past 6 years, we've actually made money on the foreclosures. It's actually become a net profit center for the business. So we're doing a really good job. If we have to go through foreclosure, where once we have the property, we can sell it on the open market, we can sell it to an investor in our network, or we can go fix the property up ourselves if we have the resources in that area to fix it up, and then go ahead and flip it once we fix it up ourselves. So you're not getting that call at the end of the day. We're literally, we're absorbing the foreclosures. You're still going to receive your 10% annual interest every single month. We do a really, really good job of managing that side of the business. There's about 30 employees here at F Street that are dedicated, to making sure that we're getting good loans, we're getting good deals, and we're making sure that we're able to pay the investors their 10% annual interest every single month. Again, fund's been around since 2009. It's got a great track record. We've got a great captain of the ship with Scott Lurie. He's amazing to work for. It's got solid business model. So we would love to have you a part of the private debt fund. If you are a part of the private debt fund and you're watching this, thank you to all of our investors. We know our investors are our number one in this business. You guys are the reason why this business is running. So thank you to all the investors that invest with us here at F Street. We take it very, very seriously with your money, with helping you grow your wealth, with helping grow your generational wealth and have passive income. So that's the general overview of the private debt fund. I hope if you're watching this, you've got some education on it, have a better understanding of what it is. And I give kudos to whoever is watching this. I always give kudos, because at the end of the day, you're responsible to build your own wealth. You're responsible to build your legacy. So thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're a newer investor and you're thinking about investing with us, you can reach out to me. I'm the investor relations manager here. I work with all the investors here at F Street. You can reach me at Mitch, MITCH, at fstreet.com. Or you can call me 414-485-0306. I look forward to working with all of you and all of those that I have worked with already. Thank you so much. And I continue to look forward to building the rest of the relationship. Hope everyone has a great day. We'll talk to you guys soon.